Welcome back to Peace, Love and Tarot. This reading is for Libra, Sun, Moon or Rising. This is a weekly reading for the week of August 19th to the 25th. Your cards this week, Libra, energies leaving, completing or transitioning. You have Temperance. Focus energies this week, you have the Magician, clarified with the Eight of Crystals. We have the High Priestess coming in towards the end of the week. So Libra, your vision as I was putting your cards down is okay, it's not quite totally graceful and sexy, guys, but it was an earthworm that has been, in the dark depths of the earthy soil, but who was about to kind of burst into the air, into the above ground. So it was a quick little flash there. So I really feel like some of you are actually coming out of the hermit phase. You're coming up for air. You're coming into the light after a period of sort of being almost hibernating or sort of being, compressed in the earth. And now you're actually starting to expand. You're starting to see the light, and you're really starting to see new possibilities for your life. So in your recent past here, so we see that you potentially did leave or walk away from a situation that wasn't emotionally fulfilling for you. This is a situation where you had maybe, you had Eight of Cups, but there was some kind of gap or space in it. So Eight of Cups can talk about, having a certain level of satisfaction in a situation. However, there's something missing, maybe something missing that you couldn't put your finger on for quite a while. It could be the relationship where you have the chemistry and, all of that sort of like charismatic energy, but that's starting to wane. And then you're realizing that underneath that, maybe you don't have the same interests, or you can't see the future in that situation. Could be a work situation where it fulfilled you initially, but now you're seeing that there's not that opportunity for growth there for you. Or maybe the pay is not what you intended it to. So the Eight of Cups is somebody who has already turned around, who has already turned their back on the situation and is taking those steps to walk away. And just with our earthworm metaphor, I think it's a situation that actually made you feel quite suffocated, made you feel suffocated and kind of held. And what you really wanted was to really sort of be in the world, to be in the light, to move back into the light. And I think intuitively you knew that at some stage you needed to move on from the situation. It's a general reading, Libra, so you'll know what that situation is for you. But there was an area of your life that was just not fulfilling you totally. You want 9 and 10 of Cups, not 8 of Cups. So I feel like you have, some of you either have walked away from this situation or are in the process of that, or are about to, you're really making that final decision. With Temperance here, this is about healing and restoring after that time, after coming back into the light, after a period of being in hermit mode, of being a little bit confined and suffocated. Now we go through a period of healing before we can really see new possibilities for our lives, or for your life. This is somebody who is coming back into balance, is rebalancing after a period where they may have felt like they needed healing. They may have felt constricted by their situation. So Temperance, rebalances the energies or the emotions of life here in these 2 cups. It's somebody who, even though they're going through a restoring period, can have one foot in the emotional waters and be processing the emotions and dealing with them while still having one foot on the ground. So what it tells me is that even though you might be healing and restoring and processing emotions, you are grounded enough to go about your daily role, your daily activities and responsibilities. So it's not something that's like a tower moment that, that tears you down completely. You are on top of this and coping with this currently or in your very recent past. Temperance talks about getting solidity back in your life, rebuilding your pillars, physical, emotional, mental. You can see the equilateral triangle here. It's the most stable shape. You push on one of those sides, it's not going to collapse because it's solid. This is about you re-establishing yourself, getting solidity back in your life and rebalancing your emotional energy. And once you've done that, Libra, the possibilities are really endless. The Magician, strong cards you've got here. You know, the Magician sees endless possibilities, infinite possibilities for their life. And, you know, the Magician really does fit in with our earthworm metaphor, because the earthworm can exist in both the, you know, the ground, in the ether, in the mass, but also in the light. And it's in that moment of bursting through the earth and into the light, where there is that kind of alchemical seed of for transformation, you know, because the Magician points to both the heaven and the earth, and from where they meet, there is that potential for alchemy. And, you know, with the Magician, you have all the tools that you need. The Magician knows that. You can see the representations of all of the tarot suits here. Has everything he needs to create, you know, abundant next chapter. Now, clarified with the Eight of Crystals, which is equivalent to the Eight of Pentacles in the Rider deck, the Eight of Pentacles does talk about carving out a new direction, of doing some kind of work or taking practical earthly action to bring something into being. So I think what this is saying is that you have the time is right. You kind of have this sort of divine guidance under the Magician energy for being the right time to put the wheels in motion for your next chapter. But there will be some kind of action that you need to take, because there always is action that needs to be taken to like move an energy of potential into something tangible or physical. So is it a new course of study that you need to take? You know, is it relocating? Is it completely, if you might have turned away from that relationship, is it ending that relationship? It's that kind of, you know, that kind of action. And the Pentacles energy, because it's, you know, the same as the crystals here, it is a slower moving energy. So this is about you kind of laying the foundation for the new chapter that will unfold over the coming months. Okay, so end of the week. This is a very interesting combo here, Libra, because you've got the High Priestess clarified with them, or it didn't clarify, sorry, they came out together with the Moon. So for me, this is definitely something coming to light, some knowledge or information coming to light. So now that you've burst out from this kind of confined space in the earth that you've been, and you're in the air and you're in the light, you are now starting to see things that you didn't see before, when you were, when you were underground, basically. You are now coming into the light and starting to see truths, because the High Priestess, she exists also, just totally ties in with the metaphor, guys. She also exists in the underworld and, the earthly realm. So she sort of sits between. She is almost like that at that point where the earthworm bursts through the soil as well. And what she does, because she has that knowledge from both realms, she is the keeper of that knowledge and of mysteries and that kind of thing. And she can decide when the time is right to bestow that information, to bestow that knowledge on the seeker, which is you. Now with the Moon energy here, I feel like there was something in your situation, probably the situation that you moved away from, that you didn't see at the time. That was kind of a little bit in the shadows, in the dim moonlight, so it wasn't really clear to you. Something that was a little bit illusionary of nature, something that just wasn't quite clear. Well, I think towards the end of the week, the High Priestess is going to bring this to light for you. You're going to receive understanding of the situation that you've walked away from, and it's all going to make sense to you. That's what I see in this combination. And I think during this week, really trust your intuition, because your intuition will be right under that High Priestess energy. So I feel like you probably know this information in your gut anyway, but this week is when it actually fully comes to light. It might be somebody saying something to you that kind of just pieces all pieces it all together. I think you'll be joining the dots somehow on your past situation that you're transitioning from towards the end of the week. But the really beautiful part of this reading, Libra, is that the Magician energy is giving you all of the potential and all of the possibilities to manifest your new beginning. So Libra, that's what I have for you this week. I hope you enjoyed the reading. You are coming into the light this week. I wish you all the best with it. Keep in mind it's a general reading, won't necessarily resonate with every Libra out there. And I'll see you next week for another reading.